Hi guys, welcome to this video where we are going to be sewing our trouser pattern. If you've not watched my video on how I got this pattern using just 2 measurements and using the Lutterloh pattern making system, I have the link directly below this video. So once you've gotten your pattern, place it on your material as I did, like so. And then I traced out my pattern, traced everything out with the tailor's chalk, as you can see. I traced everything out with the tailor's chalk. This is the front part of the pattern. I traced it out. The first line is the tracing of my pattern. You can see it. So just trace out your pattern on your material. Remember the back part of your material. And after you've done that, you now give your seam allowance. This is my seam allowance. You can give it 1 inch or you can give it half an inch. For me, this is about 2 cm. So I'll give the seam allowance all around. It is on this seam allowance that I'm going to do the cutting. And the reason I trace out my pattern is because with the Lutterloh pattern making system, the size is directly to your size. So the reason I draw this is this will direct me on where I'm going to be sewing when I'm actually doing my sewing. So this is the front piece of the trouser, and this is the back piece of the trouser. And I've done exactly the same thing. I've put my allowance and I'm going to cut it out. I'll do the same thing for the pockets. Do the same thing for the pockets, and I'll do the same thing for the waistband. So I'll go ahead and cut out my pieces, and then we'll continue from there to sew our trouser. I have cut my trouser pieces. The front piece is cut as you can see it, and the back piece is also cut. You can see my seam allowance there. So I'm going to show you how to cut the pocket piece for the pocket. Now to cut the pocket for your trouser, you need 4 pieces. You have here the 2 pieces for the back part of the trouser and 2 pieces for the front part of the trouser. This is the pattern for the pocket. So when you're cutting for the back piece, you put it as it is, like so, and cut it. When you're cutting for the front piece, you just fold here and then cut it, like so. So that's all about the pockets. For the band, I have cut out the band. That's the band for my trouser. It's folded. I have ironed a fusible fleece on half part of the band. So the band is ready. I have also cut the belt holder. I'm going to be cutting the belt holder. And now for this band is about 7 centimeters by 20 centimeters. 7 centimeters by 20 centimeters. And then we are going to be marking 3.5 centimeters each. 3.5 centimeters. And I'm going to be cutting it. That is to form the belt holder right here. If you look at the pattern, this little belt holder right here, that is what I'll be cutting. And I'm going to make 6 of it. So guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to sew a zipper flyer for a female trouser suit. This is my pattern, my front pattern for the trouser. and I've cut my fabric in 2 sets, and I've laid front part to front part. So what we're going to be doing is to fix this zipper in our zipper flyer. This pattern, I got it from the Lutterloh pattern making system with just 2 measurements. I have a link directly below this video where you can get your own perfectly fitting trouser suit pattern using just your hip measurement and of course the full length of your trouser measurement. The very first thing we need to do, if you look at this place that is dotted like this, we are going to be sewing a seam, and the seam we are going to be sewing is about 5 millimeters. I'm going to set my machine length to 5 millimeters. Let me show it to you. So this is my heavy duty singer, and I'm going to be setting the sewing length to 4 millimeters. So it is this sewing length that I'm going to now use to sew from here to here on my material. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw a line right here, and I'm going to sew from here to there with 4 millimeters, and then I'm going to continue my sewing to this curve of the front trouser with 1.5 millimeters or about 2 millimeters that I normally use to sew. So we'll go ahead and do that immediately and come back. I'm done with the sewing. This is my zipper fly. I've sewn the 2 sides together. I've done the 4 millimeter sewing from here to here, and then I did a double stitch and then continued with 2 millimeters to sew the crotch or the curve of the trouser. Now I'm going to be adding my zip. You open it, I've opened it up already and iron it. Open up your seam, iron it down. I've already done that. I just wanted to show you. Iron your seam down. Now this is the zip I'm going to be putting here. This is the front part of the zip. So what I will do is to open it up, because some people sew it close, but I prefer to open it up. And then align this part of your zip where you have the joining of the 2 trousers. Align it just like so. Just follow what I'm doing. See the way I did it? So I'm going to be sewing this as close to that as possible. I'm going to be sewing it up to almost the end of the zip. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be sewing this on the flip, not on the trouser, just on the flap like so. I'm going to be sewing it like so, not on the body of the trouser. I've sewn one part of the zip, as you can see. Look at it, one part I have sewn on the flip, not on the trouser piece, just on this. So one part of it, I've sewn it there, and I've ensured, remember that the mouth of the zip, it's exactly where you have the opening that we joined here. Exactly there. That is why I said you should sew it open. For some of the videos, they show you that you sew it close. When you sew it open like this, it's easier for you to be able to make sure that the mouth of the zip is right at that joining. So the next thing we are going to do, I'm going to close the zip. I'll close it, and then this other flap, this side of it, I will just fold it in like so. Just fold it in like so. You see? Just fold it in as I did so. And then you're going to sew the second flap on it. Also ensuring that the mouth is at that center. It will be easier now because this one is already joined to it. And we are also going to sew it only on this folded flap. That's what I'm going to do. Just on this folded flap. That's all. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just sew this zip on this folded flap. And so I've done the sewing. I've done my sewing and I've curved it down right here. The next thing is to remember that stitch we had, the 4 millimeter stitch. I'm going to loosen it, and then I'm going to open the zip, and our zipper fly will be ready. So that is our zipper fly. I've removed the gathered stitches from it. So if I open the zip, see how neat it is. Very beautiful. See how it is lying down quite flat in front of your trouser. So that's it on making a zipper fly for a female trouser suit. Thank you for watching. So we're now done with putting our zipper in our trouser. The next thing we are going to do now is to sew our darts. Now I've already marked my darts on my trouser. So what I will do, I will sew the darts, pin it down. I'll pin it down and I'll sew it. I'll do the same thing for both sides of the dart. Then after that, we are going to be joining our trouser pockets. And to do that, we turn to the front side of the trouser. Turn to the front side of your trouser and get the pockets. Remember, this is our pocket pattern. This is the front pocket. We are going to place the pocket like so. With the front facing the front, like so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch only on this side, on both sides of the trouser, only on this side, joining the pockets, and then I'll turn it over and then I will iron it, and then we'll continue from there. So my front pattern, my front pockets have been sewn and I've ironed it down. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to be joining the back pockets. These are my back pockets that we cut in 2 pieces. Remember I said I got this pattern from Lutterloh pattern making system. So the front part is going to be facing the front part. Just place it like that on both sides of the pockets. So what you're going to do, you're going to join here, from here, just the pockets alone. You're going to join it like so, up to this place. I repeat, we just join from the waist end, just the 2 pockets, join like so, up to here, right here. So I'll quickly do that with my machine on both sides of the pockets. I've joined my back pockets. This is what your trouser should be looking like right now. That's the back. That's the pockets that I've joined together. So this is what your trouser should be looking like. So what you're going to do, you're going to join. Look at where I've pinned at the waist. So that the pocket will stand, join it at the waist and join the pocket at the side together to the front part of the trouser. Join it at the side, join it at the waist. The same thing you do on both sides. And after that, we are going to be joining the back part of the trouser. This is the back part of the trouser. So what we are going to do now, we are going to join our darts first. I've already marked my darts on my material. So I'm going to join the darts, and then we are going to join up to the crotch, the 2 pieces of the back part of the trouser. I've joined all the pockets. I forgot to tell you, you need to put a stay, a cloth stay on the back part of your pockets. You need to put a cloth stay so that it will stand very well. You know, it will lie down very well when you finish joining it to the front part of your pocket. So that has been done. I have joined it here and I've joined it here. I have joined my back part together. I have joined the darts of the back part. So what I will do, I'll place front side facing front on top of the front pocket, front trouser, and then I'm going to pin it all down the sides and the under part of the trouser, and I'm going to be sewing it according to my allowance. Remember that I said you draw your pattern directly so that when you're sewing it, you know exactly where to sew. That's exactly what I'm going to do now. I have all my drawings in place, so I'm going to sew exactly where I have my drawings. This is my sewing. This is the line I'm going to sew. This is my allowance. This is where I did the cutting. So I'm going to be sewing directly on these lines that I marked. If you see the beginning of the video, you understand what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and join the back part of our trouser to the front part of the trouser. My trouser is taking shape. I've joined everything that needs to be joined. The pockets have been joined. As you can see, the front part of the trouser has been joined to the back part of the trouser. All my darts have been joined. So our trouser is actually taking shape. At this point, I think it's better you try it on a little bit to make sure that the waist, you know, is okay with you. Because when I tried mine on, it was a little bit, it wasn't as tight as I wanted. So I had to really, you know, take it in a little bit here by half an inch and take it in a little bit here by half an inch. So go ahead and try it on and ensure that the waist is okay. Because in the next thing we are going to do now is to create our waistband for the trouser. This is our waistband. Remember, I showed you how to prepare the waistband. I gummed a fusible fleece on one end of it. As you can see, one end of it. And then I folded it. So what I've done now is to sew one end together at the back and then fold it out and do the same on the other end of the band. I've sewn it together. Please ensure that your band will match the waistband of your trouser before you sew both ends together. And this here is my belt holder that is going to be on my band, and I'm going to show you how I did this belt holder. If you go back in the video, you see where I cut it in pieces, and this is what it looks like. So what I did was to fold one end and sew it. As you can see, I just folded it and I sewed it. And what I'm going to do to be able to get this particular size of band, this particular size of belt holder on my waistband, I used this double-sided tape. And what I did, because this was much easier than having to sew it and turn it around. So what I did was to gum both ends like so with a double-sided tape. Very easy. And then press it down very well. Make sure that it's really gummed. I'm doing this at the back part of the belt holder where I have already ironed on my fusible fleece. So this is what I did for the belt holders. So once you're done with that, you try to peel out the white to expose the gummy area. See, that is the gummy area. Do the same on this other side. Sometimes you have to be very patient to be able to do this. So I've exposed the two gummy areas. So what I did was to fold it like so and fold the other end like so, and then fold it again like so, and then use my machine to just sew from here to here. Remember that this end is the end that I have already sewn and folded, and this end is the end that I use to pin on the folded end of the waistband. So that's what I did here. And in order to get this space, just measure your waistband and then divide it by the number of belt holders you have. For me, I have 6, and I divided it by 6, the length of my waistband divided by 6, and then I marked where I was going to place the belt holders. So what I'm going to do now is to go to my machine, and I'm going to run a stitch on this folded end. I'll just run a stitch, and the stitch is going to be holding down all the belt holders as I run the stitch. So that's what I'm going to do on my machine. And when I finish running the stitch, I will now go to my trouser. This is my trouser, and I'm going to join my band. Remember, the band is going to be like this. This side is going to be facing you. It's going to be facing you like that. That's how it's going to be. So the way we are going to join the band, we are going to turn it like so. And then we are going to use just one end, one part of it. I hope you see what I'm doing. And we are just going to pin it down right from where the zip starts. Let me open the zip. Right from where the zip starts, you're going to pin down. Remember, one end. So just hold it down like so. And just pin it. So that's what you're going to do. I'm going to pin it all around. Hope you see what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. And once I run my stitches all around, I will now turn it like so. That is how it will look. So let me go ahead and do that on my machine. And then I think our trouser will be ready. So our trouser is ready. I have put the band, as you can see. I have put the belt holders. Everything is in place. I have hemmed the bottom of the trouser. I've hemmed the bottom of the trouser. So everything is in place. The next thing now is to see exactly how it fits. So that's our trouser. That's the pattern, Lutterloh pattern that we just finished making. And I'm showing you the fitting of the trouser. See how the belt sits very well. Got the fitting. So just check out the fitting. So that's our trouser for you. And I hope your trouser turns out as good as mine did. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Until my next video.